afternoon, y'all. Well, yesterday I came in and I made a video. I was so prepared. Y'all, I was so organized. I had everything in a stack. Oh shoot, I forgot it again today. Yesterday I forgot my whip. Today I forgot my whip. But I had finished things, and FFO things, and some finished things, and I had some gifts, and had it all lined up and did the video, and it just went off perfectly. And I swear, that thing, I uploaded it, but then it just disappeared. I looked and looked and looked and could not find it. So now I'm starting over from the very beginning. I'm going to do it again. It's going to be disorganized. Maybe it's going to be semi-organized. We'll see. So let's just start off and see what happens and see if this one will upload for me. I'm Marlene, Stitching by the Lake, and today is Monday, and it's September the 17th, and it's 2018, and I'm smiling because I know those dates today. I took my brother to the doctor the other day. Y'all have been following my journey with him, and he did not know what day it was or what month it was or what year it was. Honestly, it was not funny, but it was funny because I kept thinking to myself, okay, Marlene, you know that stuff. You must be okay. His dementia kind of comes and goes. I don't know. That morning he could not have said his ABCs past D, but then that afternoon he said them straight through and said them perfectly. So it's a strange disease. What can I say? But we spent over an hour with his doctor. It was a new doctor visit, and it was particularly for the dementia. And it was the most thorough visit with a doctor that I think I've ever seen. I was very, very impressed and amazed by some of the questions that he asked Terry. He spent a long time asking questions and having Terry tell him his memory of what had happened the last couple of months, and then he asked me the same questions, and of course my memory of it is different from Terry's, and he was able to make that comparison. But anyway, it was very interesting. Terry's doing well. Thank you for those who keep up with him and ask about him. I spent the whole week with him last week, or most of the week, because you can't even believe, it seems like when it rains it pours. His partner / caregiver was in the hospital. She passed out several times. She was taken by ambulance to the hospital 2 different times, and the second time they kept her for 5 days. She apparently has a heart issue. She's had bypass surgery and she's had a stent. And now she has something called SVT, which is supraventricular tachycardia. I can't believe I can even say that. Her heart beats really, really fast, and the blood won't pump when that happens, and so she passes out. They have given her some medicine, and she's doing much, much better. I spoke to her today, and she's only had one very minor dizzy spell, and that was the day I left, which was Friday. I think that was probably from anxiety because she was alone with him, and neither of them. Terry can't drive anymore, and she wasn't supposed to drive for a week, and so she was a little bit anxious. She had someone coming a couple of hours after I left, but she was home with him for a couple of hours by herself. Anyway, all is well. I'm going to start off saying thank you. I am like so close to 3,000 subscribers that by the next video I should have that many, and I'll be doing another giveaway for that. I don't know what yet, but I'll let you know in the next video. I also want to tell you that I did draw for the 3 bags that I had on my last video, and those have already been mailed out and have already been received, and they were sent to Nevada Stitcher, Artsy Marcy, and Sandy Palmer. So those 3 stitchers have received their bags. I have 2 more bags, 2 Halloween ones that I'll show you at the end of this video that I am going to sell, but that's all I've gotten made because I've been away from home quite a bit. So let's look at first some things that I have completed, some FFOs. This pattern, Prairie Schooler, this is Prairie Schooler Pumpkins, and it's number 57. It's an old one. It's the cardboard stock. I saw on Facebook the other day Faye Rigsby had fully finished some of these, and she finished them just like they said here, as a stand-up. It's you put a circle of fabric in the bottom and stuff them, and they stand up on a little flat base. Well, I tried that. That didn't work for me. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I actually think I'm a pretty good seamstress, but I could not get that sucker to work. So I went back to the drawing board and decided I would try something different. So I got a little, what is this called, a horn book? You know, the little, it's that. So I put some quilt batting on there and finished this. I glued it on the back to this horn book because this is not ever coming off of here. Put some rickrack behind it first and added a little bow. And I just think it turned out as cute as it can be. I'm going to have it in a little dish where it will stand up on that little bottom part of that. Then I finished the Primitive Hair Halloween Greetings. This is the pattern. I stitched this on 32 count weeks Bare Brown, and I used some DMC threads, but I also used Gentle Arts maple syrup. That I changed several colors in this. Actually, what I changed were the pumpkins, I think. I'm going to back up first so you can see it from here. I found this board at, where did I find it? Hobby Lobby. There's the thing still on the back. Hobby Lobby. And I finished it on a piece of, I wrapped it around a piece of foam core and pinned it. And then I glued, I glued the rickrack around the outside edge, and then put a little bit of glue on the back of the foam core, not on the stitched piece, to hold it onto this board. I don't intend to take it off of here and interchange it with anything else. So that's why I was able to use just a little bit of glue. I think it turned out really cute. The pumpkins were so close, the color of the thread was so close to the color of the background that I felt like they weren't going to show up. I think the color was the one that's kind of tan there. And so I added the orange to make that pop out just a little bit more. I'm really, really tickled with this one. I think it looks really good. Then, this is a Plum Street Samplers pattern. I don't have it with me. I know you all have seen it before. I've shown it to you several times before. I found this piece. It looks sort of like a window. I'm going to turn it over and show you how I did the back. It looks like a window. It was wood. I had my husband paint it black for me. It had a rope to hang it with, but since I didn't want to hang it long ways, I taped that rope down because I'll be able to take this piece off. You can see that I've just wrapped it. I pinned it on the sides to make sure it was good and straight, and I just taped it down right back here and put a little rickrack behind it. And I put just a dot of glue in the middle of that foam core and on the wood to hold this on. And I can just take this right off because it's not a real strong glue. And it should come off easily if I want to change this. I taped the rope down because I'm hanging it long ways. And I can hang it right up here from this top part. Let me get a little closer on that one. I used all the Call-For threads on this one. I don't remember what the linen is, though. If anybody needs to know that, ask me and I'll go look it up for you. And someone asked me last time about my beekeeper, and I forgot to look that up for you, whoever that was. I'm pretty sure the name of that pattern you asked about was the beekeeper, but I don't remember who the designer was. If you still want to know, though, please ask me again, and I'll look that up. That all came right in the middle of the time when I was back and forth with Terry, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle, so I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I also, I was trying really hard to get a few Halloween pieces done because I don't have a lot of cross-stitched Halloween. I have some vintage stitched things that are Halloween that I'm going to show you at the end of this video, but only one of those is a cross-stitch. So as I was glancing through some magazines, I saw several spider webs, and I thought, well, I'll stitch that spider web, but then what will I do? So I had black fabric. I stitched a spider web, just a plain old spider web, and then I thought, I'm going to find a spider. I cannot get this where you're going to be able to see that spider. This is a glittery spider. It would go perfectly on one of McKenna's dresses. His legs go all the way out to here, where my finger is. And his head is way up here. He's great big. He's this big. And I just put a little dot of glue on there to hold him on. And put it in a shadow box frame that also came from Hobby Lobby. Yeah, Hobby Lobby. I'm so sorry that you can't really see the spider, but you can kind of see from there how big he is. Isn't that cute? I know my grandchildren will like that. I love heartstring sampleries. Oh, y'all, sorry, my computer's doing something weird up here. Heartstring sampleries, festive. I am so sorry. I don't even know what I did. Heartstring samplery Beth Twist festive fobs. And I have 2 or 3 of her patterns. I stitched the scissors off the sewing one. And I mounted it on foam core and pinned it on the sides and put some braid around it, so just a little rope braid, and put it in this shadow box. This shadow box was, it had like Hello Fall or something written inside there. So what I did was back here in the back, I cut a piece of foam core the size of that, covered it with fabric, and put it in first, and then put my scissors on top of that. I love those little patterns. And in fact, I got the sweetest gift I'll show you. I got the other day from Barbara in Las Vegas, who is just the nicest lady, and she sent me one of those little festive fobs. I recognized it the minute I saw it. It's the tomato out of that same little book. Can you see that, the little tomato pincushion? Adorable. These just make the greatest little gifts, y'all, because they don't take a great long time to stitch, but to know that somebody thought about you as they stitched it and then finished it off, it just made my day when I got that. And it came actually on Friday, and I so badly needed it on Friday. I had just left my brother's, and after spending the week with him, and that's always a little bit, when you're out of your house and in someone else's home, that's a little bit uncomfortable. And then I was, trying to make sure he was okay, and Brenda was in the hospital, and Jerry was out of town, and it was just, anyway, perfect timing for her. Perfect timing. At StitchCon, we got this pattern. I've seen several of these stitched up already. Such a fun pattern. Sue Hillis designed that. And so when I got home, I decided I wanted to stitch it, but I just wanted this stitch. Just that. And I absolutely am in love with this. I've got several scraps of fabric. You know how when you're cutting your fabric, you oftentimes cut it a little bit big, and then when you go to trim it, you've got small scraps. Well, that's what I had, and that's what I stitched this on. And how perfect is that? And what a great gift. I left the needle with the thread attached from my last stitch, and I just think it's as cute as it can be. So that's going to be a gift for someone. Not sure who yet. Then I think this is the last thing that I've stitched, cross-stitched. Fracture Bird by Shakespeare's Peddler. Get the glare off. Teresa, Kitten Stitcher, does beautiful patterns. I love her stuff. I stitched mine on 32 count pair. I don't think that this was a kit, but it didn't come with the fabric, I don't think. And if you notice, there's a year down here, but I decided not to put the year on mine. I just stitched it without that. And I love him. I love this bird. It's really hard in this light to see that he's got some shading on the wing and on the breast and right back here. A little bit of little touches of red, a burgundy sort of color in there. She finished hers into a little pin pillow with a thimble and jute. But I have this little piece right here that I got at Michael's, I think. And I want to put it on there. The reason I haven't finished it yet, fully finished it, is because it's going to need some trim on the outside, but I'm not sure what color to put. I don't want to put black because black against this black background won't show up. So I'm thinking maybe this rosy color that's in here. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I also rescued some vintage stitches this month. You're just going to love these. Cute, cute. Last time, on my last video, I showed you the cats that came in a frame, and I took that out of the frame, and I made a little pillow with red cording around it. And I love it like this. It really shows it off so much better than it did in a frame. And of course it was not in great shape. It was a little dirty, and I put it and another one, a couple of my old ones, in some cold water with a drop or two of Dawn dishwashing liquid. I was pretty sure all of these were just DMC thread, and I shouldn't say just DMC. They were DMC, which doesn't normally bleed. So I felt pretty safe doing that. Love that. Cute. Cute pillow. I went to, where did I go? 2 different thrift stores. One was Goodwill, and one was just a local flea market. And I don't remember what I got where. But I found this. Well, we can sure tell that's an old one, can't we? I thought it was a really cute pattern. I don't like it framed. It was stitched in 1991. I'm going to take it out of this frame and also make a little pin pillow out of that. I may, though, do a flat fold because I'm looking up because in my sewing room, y'all, I have 2 windows that are in front of me that you all can't see. And I have 3 kind of black wrought iron looking ornate sconces up there that you're supposed to hang curtains on. I don't have curtains in this room. I have those wooden blinds. And on those sconces in here, I hang my wreaths when it's not in season for them. I have one that's, it's not grapevine. It's sort of like that, though. It's brown and almost look like pine straw all the way around. It has little red berries. And I'm thinking if I made a flat fold out of that, it might sit right in the middle of that circle. And wouldn't that be cute hanging on the door? So I think that's probably going to be my choice on that one. That's probably what I'm going to try. Okay, this one, $3, y'all. $3. Found it at Goodwill. And I absolutely love it. I will not be taking it out of the frame. It is not cross stitch, although it does have some cross stitch on it. It has embroidery. It has lazy daisy stitches. I think I saw there's a lot of French knots. There's some satin stitching. Isn't that gorgeous? Just gorgeous. I'm putting together, I've got a whole stack of things over here on the table of things that I've stitched and things that I've rescued that I'm going to hang on the wall over my bed. I'm waiting until I have enough so that I can arrange them and do it all at one time. And this is going to go with that group because I really love it that much. And then this one also, you will recognize the colors on. Another $3 one. Mauve and blue, welcome. And it's another one that could be put in the middle of a wreath for the door. I have another wreath that's just a plain grapevine wreath and it doesn't have anything on it. I will sometimes hang that and get some seasonal flowers at Hobby Lobby and stick down in the grapevine. And so without this pink, this part, just the stitched part, would be really pretty with some spring foliage, just greenery. So I might do that. That'd be kind of fun, don't you think? And I want to very quickly show you, I picked up some cross-stitch leaflets at the thrift house. That's a one that, boy, the light's getting bad. I'm sorry, it's late in the afternoon. And I'm going to show these real quickly. I got them for $1, so if anybody wants any of these, please let me know and I'll just send them out to you. If there's one you particularly like. This is called Pucker Brush Country Revisited. It's got a covered bridge and some things like that, and it's really pretty. Really pretty. Okay, Thimble Thoughts. These are different little sayings. I think one or two might be Bible verses, but most are not. You're my friend, it's plain to see. When you're around, my faults all flee. Things like that. Just some sweet little sayings. This one is Notable Quotes That Count. And it's got several leaflets, copies of leaflets stuck down in it. And it has several different quotes. A cheerful disposition is one that allows a tea kettle to sing while up to its neck in hot water. I don't know. Even if you didn't want to do these little sayings, these are great letters, different fonts that you could copy if you were going to design something yourself. American Heirlooms. This has a sampler on the back. It's dark in here, I can't read. Virginia B. Primos is the name on that one. Peach Iris. That's beautiful. Charted Classic Samplers. This Be True in Heart's really pretty. And there's one on the back with a really nice floral border. I don't think you can see that very good. There it is. And it says, use it up, wear it out, make it do without. My grandmother used to say that all the time. I like that one. Quick Kitchen Projects. Good and Country. This one has this sweet rocking chair on the back that reminds me of who it is? Paula Vaughn. It reminds me of her, but I don't think it's hers. And a cupboard full. All kinds of different little ones. Okay, so if there's one there that's been on your bucket list, let me know and I'll be glad to send it to you. Sorry, y'all, had to move. I told you when I was finishing, I had to wash a couple of my pieces that had gotten really dirty over the years. This was stitched in 1981 by a friend of mine and given to me, I don't remember, for my birthday or Christmas or something. Let me get up really close because this is so sweet. I love this shell. This one hangs up over a little shelf in my living room, and it's been there a really long time. I washed it and then restretched it and put it in a different frame. And this one I've shown you before. It hung in I made it in 1979 for my mother-in-law. And it hung in her kitchen until she passed away, and then I brought it home, and it's been hanging in my kitchen for 15 years. And it's gotten quite dirty, and it's got spots on it, so I swished it around in the cold water too and got most of that out. There's still a few spots on there, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I did restretch it and put it in a little bit different frame. It was in one of those $1 frames that we used to get, I don't know, at the dollar store somewhere. And this is still a very inexpensive frame. It may have come from the dollar store too. I don't know. It was one of my Goodwill finds. But I'm not doing too bad. Look at that. I even have the brown paper on the back. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I got a couple of gifts I want to show you. Oh, and I have just a couple of patterns that I might have bought along the way. Last weekend, I had the most wonderful, restful weekend with friends. Kathleen from Kathleen's Trodden Trail and Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche and Nicole Buckeye Stitcher all came to Little Rock, and I met them there. We rented the nicest cottage in the historic district in Little Rock and spent the weekend. We were a little bit, none of us had ever seen this cottage, and I am in and out of Little Rock all the time. I worked there for a year, many, many years ago. I was a little leery of the neighborhood because I knew at one time it had not been great over there. But they've restored so many of those old homes, and they're just lovely. This cottage actually had been divided into 3 cottages, and we rented 2 of them that you could just open a door and go into the other. So we had 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and a sitting room with a couch that made a bed and a big living room, dining room, 2 kitchens. It was great. It was just wonderful and very inexpensive to do that. So we had the best time. We stitched. It was raining. I picked up Kathleen and Nicole at the airport, but Jen drove in and met us there. We went out for lunch and had a great lunch at a little local eatery. And then I made homemade vegetable soup. We had that Friday night. And Saturday we went to the Shepherd's Needle, my local needle shop, and had the best time visiting Ann, the owner there, and Sherry, who works for her, and some other ladies were stitching, and we just chatted and looked, and Ann has recently expanded that shop, and it's bigger and better. She has more stuff and beautiful things. I don't remember everything. I bought punch needle patterns, which I don't have in here with me. Maybe I do. But I bought this pattern, which is totally not me. But she had this model stitched, I believe, in 2 different colorways. This is by Alessandra Adelaide. And y'all, it's gorgeous. It's just stunningly beautiful. In fact, I think maybe 3 of us bought this pattern. I don't know when I'll stitch it, but I will one of these days. It's just beautiful. I also ordered, as most of you probably know, some of Kathy Barrick's patterns are being retired. So I ordered a couple of those that I didn't want to miss out on. I ordered the multiplying bird. Look at him with his multiplication table behind him. My bachelor's degree is in math, and I taught algebra and geometry briefly. Very briefly. I didn't enjoy that part of education. Went on to do some other things, but I loved this bird and I loved that multiplication table. And then I bought the village with all these little houses because I love houses. This says, the beauty nature loves to share, the gifts she has for all, the common light, the common air crept over the village wall. My work. Love that one. And this one just touched my heart because my kids always say this. This is called My Mother's House. There's no place like my mother's house. My oldest daughter used to tell people she was going home for the weekend, and my husband and I moved quite a bit, and she'd say, but they'd say, you never lived there. How could that be home? And she said, because it's where my mother is and where my mother's stuff is. And that's kind of the way we feel about it, isn't it? It's where mother is and where mother's stuff is. Just a second. Punch needle. This one I particularly want to show you. This is called Halloween Blockheads, and it's by Donna Munson. She's a new to me designer. This little pumpkin head and this little cat head are only about this big around. Small punch needles. And you leave the bottom, after you turn it, you leave the bottom part open. And Anne had these sitting down like over a small tin funnel. I have several of these. If you recognize this, this is an antique spindle thread holder. I don't know what it went on. Something to do with sewing. But I found a bunch of these, and I thought, well, wouldn't he be cute sitting down over that? Except, I don't believe that's going to stand up. So somebody tell me how can I get that to stand up? I mean, it's going to have a flat base on it, right? Or it's going to have to go down in a jar or something. I could use some suggestions, because those little heads are not going to take long to punch. Gifts. Last weekend we certainly did exchange some gifts. I'm not going to try to show all of them because there were several gifts, but I wanted to especially say thank you to the three of you who came and met with me and who brought gifts, and I wanted to show a couple of them. One is this little pillow that Kathleen stitched. Okay, let me put my basket back down. Stitch over 2 all the day through. She even beaded this little strawberry right here. Don't you love that? This is a wool piece to put my needles on, and it's got a velveteen 2 parts on the back. I got cookies from Jen from Mississippi. 2 different kinds, lemon and almond. There's the almond ones. There's lemon. You'll notice that box is open because I might have eaten 1 or 2. But not the whole thing. I didn't eat the whole thing. And I was also excited to get, I don't eat Altoids, but I've been wanting to finish those. I wanted one of these boxes because I've seen several people do those. I think Yvonne Night Owl Stitcher did. And I also got a pattern to go on it, which I can't show you because it is the pattern and it's not a picture. But that's going to be on my next to-do list. And then a sweet, sweet friend in Las Vegas, Joan Clark, sent me a box this big of stuff, y'all. It was mostly full of fabric for finishing. She's cleaning out some of her stuff, and she shared with me, and I was so excited that she did. And she sent me, I don't know, 6 or 8 patterns. I'm not going to show you every one, but here's some of my favorites that she sent. This is Deck the Halls, Blackbird Designs. The little strawberries. 6 strawberry patterns. Primitive Hair. You know I love primitive hair. This one is called Love Never Fails. This will be perfect to stitch for Valentine's Day. Heartstring Samplery. Valentine Fobs. I did not have that one, so I was excited to get that. And then the Hands-On Design Stitching is My Heart's Desire. This is a kit. And she also sent me the finishing kit that goes with that. And then there are several others here that are all just as cute. A couple of Lizzie Kate ones, really cute things. But I don't want my video to get too long, so I'm going to pass on showing everything. I think that's all that I have. I have gotten way behind watching videos, and there are so many of you that I love so much, and I don't want to miss out, so I'm just taking my time and going through as I can. And I'm not always getting to comment because of whatever I'm doing at the time, but I'm watching and I'm giving y'all a thumbs up, and I'm so glad that you continue to make videos. And I'm even more glad that those of you who are not making videos are coming by to see my videos and are subscribing and leaving such sweet notes. This is just a fabulous, fabulous group of people. All of the men and women that I have had any contact with who are cross-stitchers are just great. Someone asked me the other day, I may have told you this before, if I wasn't uncomfortable going like to this weekend and meeting people that I had never met before, and I just laughed and said, I don't think that serial killers are cross-stitchers. And I don't. I am still going to try to go to Midwest Stitchers in Minneapolis in October. I'm hoping that works out. And seeing some of my buddies that I met at StitchCon. Pam and Steph, for one. Look at this cute card they sent me. You would know it was them if you just saw the mane. Excuse me. I had told them both that I loved their little cards that they had made. Look at that. I just adore that. So sweet. So they sent me one. So thank you, girls. I appreciate it. So I have 2 bags. If you're interested in a Halloween bag, let me know. Just 2 is all I've got, y'all. This one is black spider webs. How cute is that? It's a real sheer fabric that I backed with a lighter fabric so you could see the spider webs. And this one, these are my scary cats. I'll put my email address down below so you can email me if you're interested in one of those. Please don't just comment, because I don't always read the comments as quickly as I read my email. Oh, vintage stitching. I wanted to show y'all a couple of things I almost forgot. I just am not as good at this as some of the other Flosstubers. I want to show you this quilt. I made this several years ago. These blocks are all hand embroidered, and they're all, I think they're Kathy Schmidt patterns. I have another Kathy Schmidt thing I'll show you. I alternated those with the 9-patch block and then with the star block. And this was one of the first quilts, I think, that I did my own machine quilting. Just on my home machine. I'm trying to back up so you can get a little more of it. It's not a bed quilt. It's just a decorative quilt to hang. This is machine applique, another wall hanging. I just went out and got some leaves and brought them in and traced around them and drew off some funky little letters and appliqued those on there. I didn't even quilt this really. I just let the applique serve as the quilting on this one. Well, I might have just stitched around the borders to use that as part of the quilting as well. And I thought this would be a great idea for a cross-stitch piece. This is embroidery. It's a fall piece. But I just put the little triangles around and then a plain border. And it also is a wall hanging. I used to do a lot of those. This is an applique. Frank, look at this face. Don't you love it? He's a cutie. Kathy Schmidt did a 12-month series of these embroidered patterns, and each one has a little piece like this that came with it, a printed piece. The bluebird has the eggs in the robin's nest, I think, things like that. But I have one for each month, and these hang on a little metal stand. I can't remember the name of that. but I change them out each month. And then I have a couple of embroidered pieces that are ready to be made into pillows, but that hadn't happened yet. That's my witch's house. Who did that pattern? Can't remember. And my witch's boot. I've seen this pattern stitched other places, and a lot of people have colored these in with crayons. I chose not to do that, but I do think the crayon ones are really pretty. And I'm hoping this week to get those made into pillows. And this is my old Witch Mary that I stitched last year or the year before. I put borders on, sewed the braid around, and it also hangs. So, that's it. That's all my vintage stitching that I'm going to show you today. I've been stitching for a lot of years, so there's a lot of stitching around this house. It's just pretty much covered. I don't have many photos up of people. I just have stitched things. That seems to be okay with everybody, and if it's not, they don't tell me. So, I hope y'all have a wonderful stitching week, that you get lots of stitching done, and that you have a really good week. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.